Hope you're doing well. While we are waiting on people to join, also the lighting is still messed up. I can't figure out the lighting on this. So while we're waiting on people to join, just reminding you to go to coopedup.com. One of my resolutions for 2021 is to put more content there. We'll see. We'll see. And then if you're on Instagram, go to I'm Cooped Up. That's me on Instagram. And then wherever you are watching or listening to this, whether it is on Facebook, YouTube, the podcast platform of your choice, or whatever, look for a bell to click on the notifications so that you can always hear when I hear and see when I come live. So, hey, Mama, good to see you. Happy New Year. Actually, I was talking about you earlier today with our beloved sister/daughter. That didn't make any sense, Monica. About picking up presents because she still has like 2 years worth of presents because I haven't seen her. Hello, Casper the Friendly Ghost. I know the lighting. Hang on. Let me check. I want to try something real quick. It may be too bright, but I'm having so much trouble with figuring. Is that better? See, it like brightens. I don't know. I got to figure out the lighting situation. Since I got the standing desk, I think the proximity of me to the light now is too close. Or I don't know. If I sit down, it's better than when I'm standing up. So I think that is better, though. Hopefully. I still feel like a friendly ghost, though. At least I'm not an unfriendly ghost. Hey, Sandy. Good to see you. Oh, so we're out still for Christmas break. Our school doesn't go back until next Tuesday. So a week from tomorrow, we go back. And that's always been scheduled for us, which is fortuitous because I think a lot of schools, Aaron, I think yours included, have had realized, oh, shit. There's a lot of COVID going around right now, and it's their staff and faculty and stuff. It's not the kids so much. It's more the faculty and staff that they're having trouble with being out and sick and all that kind of stuff from exposure, because we're still within kind of that 10-day window from Christmas and the New Year's also. And so we did it as just a week to let everyone kind of chill the fuck out and all of that. But Eric just got home from school, so DISD obviously is rocking and rolling already. So speaking of rocking and rolling, what did y'all do? So what we did on New Year's Eve, we had fondue. That's our tradition. Fondue, bread fondue. I made cheese fondue for the first time. I've never actually done that with chocolate chips and heavy cream. Delicious. Not on any sort of Weight Watchers diet, though. And then we played, I can't remember if we played cards, if we played Mexican train dominoes. I can't remember which we did, but we played something. And then on our game table up here in the family room. And then we watched New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest. It was bizarre. So did y'all watch that? Or I guess whatever. I think they were all in Times Square. Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen were also down there and all that. It was like nobody. I mean, they had special invite for first responders, but they were in like these little pods. And sometimes they'd just be one person in the pod all by himself, just sitting there. And then they had all of the inflatables for Planet Fitness going to try to fill in and make some activity. Just weird. And then the Planet Fitness ads were incessant, on constantly. But here's the weird thing. The ads were all about, hey, we're safe, we're clean, blah, blah, blah. Not a fucking mask in sight, other than one woman spraying something wearing a mask. All the rest of it was their standard B-roll of people exercising and working out. And I'm like, shouldn't you have at least shot some new B-roll of people wearing masks while working? It was just so, the whole thing was the incongruence of those commercials, the visual to what they were saying, which is so weird. So did anyone else notice that? Like literally no one other than the woman spraying the screen on one section was wearing a mask in any of the Planet. And I thought I was losing my mind. And then Todd noticed it too. And then we started paying attention to it and then started driving us nuts. But J-Lo, holy balls, J-Lo was on New Year's Rockin' Eve. I prefer watching the New Year's Rockin' Eve because I feel like they have better talent, right? And that's the one that Ryan was, and Sandy is saying she watched that too. J-Lo was on it. And, I love J-Lo. I love her so much. She's not quite up there with like Whitney and Adele, but she's pretty damn close, right? So she did At first, it was kind of weird. She was standing on, like, she was like the top of a Christmas tree or something, all white. I don't even remember what the song was. It was one of her new slow songs that she was singing to kind of show off her vocal chops. And then she goes into my favorite song of 1999, Waiting for Tonight. But she's singing it like slow ballad style, which I was like, whatever. But then she pops into Aerosmith's Dream On. Oh my God, she rocked it out and she hit those high notes screaming. It was so good. And at one point, she slid across the stage and didn't stop in time because she did this at the concert that we saw, which I'll talk about it in a moment. And, at the Super Bowl also. I mean, bitch is like 51 years old and she is looking that good. And she slid across the stage, misjudged the distance, and just totally rammed into the camera. And then, just like the consummate show person that she is, performer, show business expert, she just got up like it was no big deal. She kind of made a joke about it later in the interview, but she was like, I slid into 2021. But that note, so we saw her in concert. I saw her. So I bought tickets to the concert when she did like a 7-show tour, mostly southern states, I think. And it was for her 50th birthday. So it was at the end of 2019, I think, is when we saw it. So I bought tickets for me and Todd to go, really, really good seats. And then our friends, we have friends who have a box at American Airlines Center who occasionally invite us to things. And they invited us to that show. So I sold the tickets because I was like, I mean, boxes, the seats actually aren't as good, but a box is a box. And it's got like a private bathroom and all kinds of stuff, drinks and all that stuff. So sign me up for a box anytime. But so we went to that show. And so I sold the tickets to Arden, who works with me. And so she went. That show was so fucking sexy. At one point I texted Arden. I was like, I feel uncomfortable that you and I are watching the exact same thing right now. And this feels like sexual harassment or workplace discrimination or something. It's workplace harassment. It was so fucking sexy that, I mean, I was questioning all of my homosexualities, y'all. Like, it was, I mean, at one point she was doing a lap dance, which that was a little much. Kind of gross, actually. But all the rest of it, I mean, she just, all the costume, it was a show. Good show. But so she did that, and supposedly I read that Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper were interviewing Mariah Carey at the same time that Jennifer Lopez was performing on the New Year's Rockin' Eve stage, and that New Year's Rockin' Eve was so loud that it kept interrupting Mariah Carey's interview. And she thinks she's the Grand Diva, which we talked about that last week. She was opening act for Lionel Richie. Wasn't that great? But anyway, so she got interrupted by J-Lo performing. What a great way to end 2020, right? Eric is saying, I am all about anything in a suite at AAC. Same here, girl. I mean, you get good parking. I think that starts and ends the great experience. You get the premium parking right there. You get a separate entrance that you go in, so you don't even have to, and you get whisked away up an escalator to basically an empty floor. If you're in a suite that has a bar that's already stocked, you don't even have to go to the bar. And then the bathroom, the one that we go to all the time, the bathroom is just out the door and then like right next to it. Never a wait. It is the best. And this, like I said, the seats aren't the greatest. They're at the back end. All the suites, everyone I've been, they're at the back end of the stadium. And so you're kind of further away, so you see so you're not kind of in it. But I can dance, I can sing, I'm 50. I'm not 50, but that reminded me of that. And Sandy's like, yes, when she slid across the stage, wow. I mean, that's her move, though, right there. That crotch shot straight into the camera. She did that same. Doesn't that Super Bowl episode where she and Shakira performed feel like it was a million years ago? That was the last Super Bowl. Like that, we have not even had a Super Bowl since then. Since she and Shakira did it. That feels like it was forever ago. But it was hot. I mean, like I said, I love J-Lo. Love her so much. The suites with the bars in them can be dangerous. I know nothing about that. He says totally dishonestly. Oh. And Raven said, we watch Andy Cohen get white girl drunk. I just don't love him. I am not a super fan. Anderson Cooper, he giggles, and that makes me happy when I hear him giggle constantly. But Andy Cohen, I have just never been like a Andy Cohen super fan. So I don't know. And Raven is saying suites are great for the games. For shows, I have to be as close to the stage as I can get. So I used to be that way, but I hate floor seats on concerts. I hate them because fortunately I'm 6.5 feet tall, so I can see over people. But you're with other people and you're all on the same level. That is the worst. And then now that everyone does this too, watches a concert through their phone, drives me insane. So at least the suite, you're away from people. It's stadium seating. If I bought, like when we went to Celine Dion, I bought that first section that goes up a little bit so that you're at least tiered. Also, I want a comfy seat. I mean, you're older than me, Raven, I think, but or maybe not by much. But like this bitch needs, you're more fit than I am though, but this bitch needs a place to sit down. I'm not standing up for a 3-hour concert. That's just not happening. At least in the suite, I kind of rest my butt on like a bar stool and kind of dance, and then get up and dance, and then kind of rest myself on the bar stool again. Michelle Condrey loves Anderson Cooper's giggles. He's just such a funny giggle, especially since he drops his voice so low when he anchors everything. So, like I said, the kids go back in a week from tomorrow. Today was the day, though, that everyone else went back to work. And suddenly everyone's like, oh, shit, I got to get my New Year's resolutions. I'm on fire. Everyone wanted something today. I'm like, can we just ease into 2021? I mean, I feel like we got the beaten out of us with 2020. So let's just go easy. Go easy, y'all. Resolutions. Y'all have any? One of my resolutions, as I said probably before most of y'all came live, is I'm going to try to put more content up on coopedup.com. I'm not committing. I know a resolution without a plan is just a wish. I think that's what they say. I'm probably paraphrasing that. But so I don't know how much content I'm going to put up. Love to do once a week, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But just more. At this point, I'm like once a month, and that's not cutting it. So thinking about doing that, I do need to lose some lbs. I got my little food baby, my little wine baby right here, which, by the way, you notice I'm not drinking right now. Something I'm trying. Let's see about that tomorrow, though. I'm just drinking some water. I do need to drink more water, though. I used to be like a water fiend. Like I drank like 100 ounces of water a day. It felt so good, all of that. And now that we're at home, I just don't do it as easily. Like I think when I'm at work and I can just sip on it while I'm doing a bunch of work stuff, it's better. And I always have, I mean, literally, if you've ever had a meeting with me, I always have one of these bottles on me. The hydration. It's the key to good skin. Good skin. What else? One of my resolutions also is, or goals, or whatever you want to call them, if you don't like resolutions, is getting rid of a lot of subscriptions that we don't need. We started off the year and the week right. Todd canceled our DirecTV because we don't. So here's the fucked up thing, y'all. We've had DirecTV forever, and then we started streaming, and then I bought the Apple TV device and all that stuff. Never hooked the fucking DirecTV up to it because I already had AT&T TV streaming. So we have not had a TV hooked up to a DirecTV that we could watch for probably the greater part of a year, but we've still been paying $150 a month or whatever it was. And so so Todd finally canceled it because that one was in his name. Finally canceled it this weekend. They were like, okay, so we'll send you instructions on how to return your devices and all that kind of stuff, right? We get an email from them and they're like, oh, we checked our records. Your shit's so old that we don't want it back. Just throw it away. Like we don't even take it to the UPS store and send it to us. Just get rid of it. We don't want it. Which that also pisses me off. We've talked about that before. Drives me nuts when new customers get treated so much better than old customers. That long time customers, obviously, if our shit is so old. But I'm like, couldn't you have at least let a bitch know, like, hey, we have new equipment. We could upgrade you. It might be $5. I don't know. And have we been paying? I need to check the bills. Well, actually, I don't want to because then it'll piss me off even more. But we've probably been paying an equipment rental fee every month for the shitty ass equipment, which was working, but I don't know. I don't know if the newer stuff is faster, better, what it does, but they just don't even want it. And Raven does want to get a financial planner to get her savings in order. You know what I do? I don't actually have a financial planner. But one of the things that I do is I have every dollar that I get through my business, through whatever, I have a set ratio that I instantly transfer money to all these different places. So I get, let's say say I get $1,000 check for something. I get $1,000 check. Well, 50% of that goes to, in my business's sense, it goes to payroll. And then 25% of it goes to my account immediately. And then from there, I transfer money for taxes, because when you're self-employed, you have to pay estimated taxes. They don't take it out. But then I instantly put 10% into a savings account that I have at a different bank. I have it at American Airlines Credit Union, so that I'm not seeing it. Just put it in there. I put 10% away for donating, and then I send that to our Fidelity Giving account. And then the rest, I have a couple of little other things that I do, like for an investment account, for a savings account, all these little small little things. But I do it automatically. I read this book called Automatic Millionaire. That's actually a great book to read, Automatic Millionaire. And basically the premise of it is to automate as many things as you can. And your employer may be able to do this. I know my payroll system at my company, people can sign up to get direct deposit, and I can deposit like a ratio into different accounts. So I can deposit into your main savings account or your main checking account, but I could put like 10% if you request it into your savings account. I think a lot of employers are able to do that. And so, but that's the premise of Automatic Millionaire, is that you just don't see that it's going places, and then it's there. And so you only live off of what you can see, like what's hitting your main account. And then everything else, I can see most of my stuff, but for some reason there's like a mental block on like, ooh, do I really want to transfer money out of that for that? It makes it has to be sponge-worthy, as the old Seinfeld quote was for that. Michelle wants to build some strong legs. I was reading an article, I don't know if this applies to you, Michelle, but I was reading an article that they were like, a couple of things to do. Actually, it was Dr. Oz. No. It was Sanjay Gupta, who was on CBS Sunday Morning, which, by the way, I love that show, but that is the epitome of old people. All the ads were for different kinds of medication and Medicare Plus and retirement planning and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, he said that one of the things that you should do is sitting is the new smoking. So if you have a chance to decide, should I be sitting right now or not? Like, do I actually need to be sitting for this? Choose to not sit. As you can see, I'm standing. Although I have been sitting a lot today because I can't stand the whole day. But that was one of the things he said. And then there was someone else that said to squat. So just do a simple squat. When you think about it, you can just do 10 at a time, but try to get up to like 100 a day. And that'll work your big muscles. And when I used to work out with a trainer, his thing, because I'm not a workout person, like I always joke, I have a gym in my house I'm not a member of, but and Tawana can probably back me up on this if she's watching, because she's a fitness trainer, is if you don't have a lot of ambition or interest in working out, the main thing to do is focus on your largest muscle groups. So your thighs, your upper leg, like your thighs, your quads, your back. I don't remember what the other one was. I think like your glutes. But anyway, that the rest of your muscles ultimately start to maybe not fully follow suit, but they start to, like if your quads get big, your calves are going to get stronger too, because your calves are having to carry the weight of the other thing, right? So I don't know, just something to think about. And Raven is saying their offices are staying closed until April 5th due to COVID. I think that's when Todd's, I don't know if they said April 5th or March 5th or whatever, but I mean, he thinks he's home for most of this year already, probably through the summer for sure. And Sarah wants to get me some bronzer. I don't know. It's the lighting. If I kind of go down, I'm a little bit more, it is winter, but I'm a little bit more tan. For some reason, this camera is, I still got to figure this out. It's since I moved to this standing desk, but I actually do have a good self tanner that I use. It is, I think, L'Oreal. I don't know. I'll share it with y'all some other time. Um, and then I'm going to be fit by 40, Aaron is saying. Spin class at home every day. I said the same thing when I turned 40 and I actually got fit. I said the same thing when I turned 30. I'm now 46 though. And 46 is kind of like fuck it 40s. Is that what it is? I just want to be healthy now. Fit may not be the right phrase for me. I actually am not fat other than from here to here, right? I got a little belly. And then it settles here a little bit, but fortunately I'm so tall, everything spreads out a lot. And Sandy's saying I'm still working from home, but have to go in this week for a small project. Less than 10 people are in our office that holds 240. That is so weird. Well, that was what Todd's company was talking about, that they could go into work, but they can't be in meeting rooms together. So they would still have to be, so they'd be sitting in their offices in their cubicles, Zooming with each other, which why the fuck not just stay home, right? Like why even make people go in if they're not allowed to congregate in conference rooms? So that's ultimately what they decided. Also, they work downtown and a ton of people will take like the DART in, like the light rail train, and that's just for like an hour. And that's just, they don't want to force people to do that either. And I would probably look whiter based on my last Zoom meeting. Yeah. The light, I got to figure out the lighting. So when I started though, here's the weird thing. When I started today, I did not have the light on, and y'all said I looked even whiter because the light actually balances everything out. But for some reason, it's hitting my skin. I'm a better color when I back up. Sorry if you're listening on the podcast right now and can't see the visuals, the gorgeousness of pasty white me. But they're off. Sandy is following it up, saying their offices have officially opened, have limited capacity in conference rooms and comment areas. They literally have roped off the open comment areas. It's so bizarre. Like, why be there? Like, that's what I don't understand. Do people have the option to go in? Is that what it is? So it's for people who really, really want to go in or need to go in? Or are people being required to? Like, I have friends who are required to go into the office, but they're only doing half and half. And I'm like, why? Why force that? I just do not understand. And she's saying, oh, not roped off. They're actually taped off like a crime scene. Well, that seems like it's great for corporate culture. Don't go over there. That's where Sandy committed that heinous crime over there. We got CSI showing up. SWAT's going to invade the place soon. That's socially distanced, Matt is saying. It works. We have our office set up so we are socially distanced. But here's my question on that. Like, socially distanced, but to what effect? Just so that you have people in the office? Like, that's where it goes kind of off the rails for me. Is the whole point of being into the office is that everyone can kind of be together and have that synergy, as they say, and water cooler talk and conversations over lunch table kind of thing. Meetings, like you can have meetings and sit in a meeting for an hour and really hammer things out. But if your company is not allowing you to do those things, like, do you have socially distanced meetings where you're all 6 feet apart at a table, or you're wearing masks or what? Maybe that works. But if you're not allowed to have these meetings, or it's limited numbers of meetings, why fucking do it? Like, that's literally what I think. But I think there's a lot of people who just don't want to work from home. Actually, my staff has asked me over and over and over again to open the office again. And I did, and then things went haywire and I shut it again. Too many close calls and all that kind of stuff. But I feel bad for them because they're all in their 20s, and so they live in like the uptown area. So they're having a tiny little apartment, but they weren't meaning to live there. Or they have a roommate or something, and they're all trying to work from home together in like this 1 or 2 bedroom tiny little thing. I'm very privileged. I live in a 7,000 square foot house with 7 bedrooms. So we have plenty of space. Everyone has their own space, classrooms, offices, all that kind of stuff. I realize that not everyone has that, but I'm totally comfortable staying home. And Matt is saying, I like the synergy. We have the conference room set up so everyone is 6 feet apart. Thankfully, we have the extra space. I know a lot of people like the synergy. I'm just saying a lot of people's offices are opening, but the corporate policy is that they're not allowed to meet with each other. They still have to Zoom with each other from their desks, which makes absolutely no sense. Why even be at the office if you're not doing the office stuff? Like if you're just physically there, but then you're kind of trapped in your cube. So it's and Sandy's saying her office is on a reservation basis. Only essentials have to go in. Yeah. Reservation basis. Interesting. And Eric is singing my tune. Being tall forgives a whole multitude of sins when it comes to weight. I thank God every day of my life that I'm tall. Me fucking too, girl. I am so glad that I can. I mean, I've gained 2 pounds in the last 2 weeks, and I don't feel like I notice it because it's just everywhere. My big toe to the top of my hair is like 6.5 feet. So, yes. I already said that one. I'm also trying out a new tooth whitening thing, by the way. It is a Colgate. It's a paint on, and you do it at night, and you just paint them on. It's 7 days only, and it's working. Although I don't know if you could tell right now, everything is so white. But maybe that's why. Maybe it's my gleaming smile that is throwing everything. It's called Colgate Brilliance, I think. I got it on Amazon. Amazon does these things called treasure trucks, which they don't do anymore, but they still do the offers. But it was treasure truck. You got a text, and you ordered it, and then you went and picked it up, and it was like this big carnival setting with like a fun games and bubbles and all kinds of. And it felt like an adventure, and it was always a big discount. Well, they're still doing it, but they just ship it to you, and you get it the next day. And so they had one last week, and it was like 40% off. I was like, I'll try it. It's working. I like it. So, and Aaron, people are horrible. I love working from home by myself. I'm not hating it. If I did not have this every day, though, I don't know if I would be singing the same story because of the. This is providing me a great social outlet. And Eric is saying, I joke that Mark and I each have a wing of our own at our place. Y'all do, and actually, it looks like it was decorated by like 2 different people, even because you've got your ethereal light, like heavenly side, and then you've got the dark wood side, which they're great. They work well together. But like, yeah, I could see like there being a dividing line in that. A couple of other things. Have y'all seen the new Kroger commercial? For those of you who have Kroger, Kroger is using Flo Rida's "Low, Low, 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 Low" song. Shorty got low. I think that's the song, or whatever. That is so bizarre to me. That is so, like, I hear songs that I'm like, that's not what that song. It's not supposed to be about groceries, right? Because they're the app, and if you use the app, you get it, and it's like, Shorty got low, low. And it literally has all these cartoon people like twerking to the floor because they got oranges for 5 cents off or something. So weird to me. And like I've talked about this before, when like at Target has like the Push It, like Salt and Pepper's Push It song for grocery shopping. Push it and push it real good. Dun, 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 dun. That song is not about groceries. That song is literally about putting it in, like sex. Shh, don't tell anyone. I said the S word. But Flo Rida, every time I see it, I'm like, that is just so weird. Is that how you know you're old? When all the raunchy songs from your youth come back, and they're using them to hawk mandarin oranges and grocery shopping apps and stuff like that. Like that's just, yeah, I think that is right. And all the nostalgia right now, God, I mean, obviously, people of my age, especially like in your 40s, maybe lower 50s, the nostalgia for the 90s and late 80s, but specifically the 90s, is making such a huge comeback that all these songs are doing it. And it's all people my age are like, oh, I love that song, blah, blah. I'm like, I feel fucking old. Like my jams are now old enough to be on commercials. Like, that's just so weird to me. And then there was only one other thing, because I'm hitting my time, y'all. Again, look, my list is so short, but I fill up 30 minutes. Um, I saw someone on Instagram over the weekend, and we'll talk more about this later. There's an Instagram profile that's called Gays Over COVID, and basically they're just trashing deservedly so, all of these gay circuit parties that are going on over the New Year's holiday, specifically Puerto Vallarta, some in Houston, some in New York, and other places. And they keep getting them canceled, and then they'll have to reroute them or whatever. But on there, I saw someone had a T-shirt that said, "I have the antibodies," like using that as an excuse for being irresponsible and stuff. And then I had a conversation with someone earlier today that didn't realize that you actually only have the antibodies for like 90 to 120 days, like 3 to 4 months. And then you can get it again, right? So I was telling Todd about that, about the T-shirt, and about this conversation with a friend of mine on this topic. And he's like, "How do people not know this? Do they not read? Do they not hear it?" I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is. But I have antibodies. What an arrogant shirt to wear to try to get out of still being a decent human and setting a good example. So, and now there's Gays Over Karen is now. So they're trying to co-opt that and get it. I don't think that's going to work. People are like, you shouldn't be shaming. Some things, though, maybe shame. Usually shame isn't a powerful motivator necessarily. People dig in, but maybe in this case it might be. I don't know. And Matt is saying he's 5'9" on a good day, hence his problem with weight. And Raven is saying, "I'm a shorty short. 5 pounds looks like 10 pounds on my frame. I envy taller people." If it's any consolation, the trials and tribulations of being a very tall person, I don't think I have any nerve endings in my scalp anymore because I hit my head literally on everything. There are certain cars I cannot drive because there's not enough leg room or headroom. I can't sit in the back seat of most cars because I'm like, especially if it's like a car that has like a really sloped roof, because I'm like this. I know, feel bad for me. What? Call me the ambulance. Poor me. And Eric is saying, "I'm okay with shaming in this instance." Yeah, about the circuit parties. Yeah, so go to Gays Over COVID if you're on Instagram. It's hilarious. I mean, they are taking them to town on that. And there's even to make it even more interesting, one of these party cruises in Puerto Vallarta, which is like in the ocean, shark-infested waters, all this kind of stuff. It sank with all these people on it, and they were having to jump off and swim in their tiny little bikinis, swimming around, and had to be rescued by other boats. I don't think anyone. Eric texted me something a little bit ago. I've not read it yet, but like people have died of COVID since being at these parties, which is unfortunate. But and then COVID vaccine. I'm gonna write that on my list. If you are in the country, you can get the COVID vaccine. I have a friend who actually told me herself that she got it. I'll just tell you now. So I have a friend who lives in like the Wichita Mountain area of Oklahoma, which is like north of Wichita Falls, Texas, rural area. And she told me, she actually did this, that in a lot of these rural areas, the rollout of the vaccine is going so slowly, and people are so suspicious of it, like especially in these super conservative areas, that people aren't signing up to take the COVID vaccine. So in order to keep it from going bad and to make their numbers, they're just letting anyone take it. So she's younger than me, healthier than me, has no pre-existing conditions that I know of. She's already gotten her first dose because the local pharmacy or clinic or whatever it was like, "Everyone come on down. If you want it, we got it." Because no one wanted to take it. I told Todd that, and he's like, "How far away is that?" I was like, "We are not driving 3 hours each way twice. You got to get it 2 times to do that." Maybe Hillsboro, an hour south of Dallas. I'm going to check that out. Yeah. So if you live in a rural area and you want the vaccine, maybe take a look at it. I saw that Tarrant County, which is where Fort Worth is, super conservative county. A lot more people are getting it there than in Dallas, because Dallas is, doing it the way in the order that was delegated, but it's taken longer than it's supposed to as well. So anyway, just a little pro tip: if you can hobble yourself out to a hobble. Why did I say hobble? That wasn't aimed at you, Michelle. That was just, I don't know why I said that. Out to a rural area, you might be able to get some COVID vaccine. And wouldn't that be interesting? If in that case, I should be at my driven there. Hillsboro is an easy drive. I don't know if Hillsboro has it, but that was the first like rural area that came to mind. But maybe like out towards Tyler, maybe north like Sherman and all that. And I'm trying to think of the DFW area where it starts to get rural. I think Midlothian is probably still too close. I don't know. Maybe not. Midlothian's pretty conservative though. You might take a look. Anyway, just sign up in Tarrant County and just show up. They're only looking to make sure you signed up. I've heard that with people out there that you signed up. Like you just had to make it. They're not even checking if you qualify for anything. That's what I heard. Do you have to be a Tarrant County resident to do that? Like, do you have to prove that you're a resident? That's the only thing. Because I'm obviously a Dallas resident. And Tom Thumb Pharmacy said, I can't get it until mid-January because I'm in the 1B group, not the 1A group. Well, the government is now starting to say, stop being so hyper. Do the 1A until you stop seeing a big group of people showing up as a 1A. Don't wait for 1A for it, then switch to 1B. As soon as you don't have a mass of people in line for 1A, switch to 1B is what they're saying. And so that's, as of this weekend, that was the guidance that a lot of the experts are saying. So we'll see if that takes effect or not. But they shouldn't be sitting on vaccines if there's no one showing up to take them anymore. They should be moving down to the next group in line is what they're saying. Of course, I'm not going to shoot them to death. Actually, I might in this case. And Sandy was thinking east, like Kaufman, Terrell. Yeah. If any of y'all have pro tips, tell me. Don't post it. Tell me because I want to go get it. And my dad can drive them. They just won't stop for anything. Yeah, that's us too. We can take the RV out there and make it a weekend camping trip. So, alrighty. Well, I went over a little bit. Sorry about that. I hope you're okay with that. Just make sure I did not miss anyone's comments. Matt is saying 90s all over the place. I still have every one of those CDs, but they've been burned onto my home computer and iPhone for ages. We don't even own a CD player anymore in this house at all, I don't think. And Michelle's jams are from the 60s. Good music. Let's see. Shoddy. And like Raven said, hardly anyone in East Texas is wearing a mask. That's what I'm saying. Like, these are the same places where they don't want to get the vaccine either, but they're still getting shipments of it because, I mean, they should. So, I mean, if they're not taking it, why can't the city folk go medically gentrify the country areas? I don't know. So if you get any tips, let me know. Alrighty, with that, I'm going to say bye. I love you. It's important to know you're loved. Love that you watch. Thank you. Not drinking, just the water. We'll see how long I might have a vodka soda or something later. Because that doesn't count as drinking. If it's not wine, if I switch to vodka, I'm okay, right? Yeah, who's going to know? Vodka, is that lower calorie to it? If I have a vodka soda, that's definitely lower calorie, right? I think so. Anyway, and so in the meantime, I will see you tomorrow for another episode at 4:30 for another episode of Cooped Up Live. Should I say? Talk to you later. Love y'all. Bye.